Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Storm Collectibles Street Fighter II Ultra The Final Challengers Ken. This is the regular version of Ken as opposed to the Violent Ken, which we got previously. And the Violent Ken had a significant issue, and I'm hoping this one doesn't. We're going to find out together. I haven't tested it yet. I wanted you to have my authentic reaction when we go to test it. But there are some things to talk about other than just the color scheme being very slightly different. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. Okay, for those of you not familiar with this line, it is relatively large. He's about 7 1/4 inches tall, which makes him just about, let's say 18.5 centimeters, just for quick reference. Here is a look at him up against a DCSH, basically DCUC Batman, and here he is up against a Marvel Legends Gambit. And so you can see, not even close to in scale, don't even try it. Alright, now, main differences on this guy from the original release. The color scheme is a little bit different. As you can see, the skin tone is different. The red is slightly brighter, just a little bit more yellow in that red, a little bit more saturation. And then obviously the eyes are painted a little bit differently. Now, I have the Violent Ken with the smiling face. He does have all of the same faces, it's just the paint for the eyes is a little bit different, and of course the hair color a little bit different. But they are essentially the same figure otherwise, so no need to worry about any sort of changes like that. We will talk about the hips. The only other issue I've noticed on mine is that this guy, his lower legs swivel at the bottom of the pants, and for the new one, I have not been able to get either of the lower legs to rotate. They should, though, with a little bit of heat, it should end up freeing up, so it shouldn't be a design change because there's really no reason to do that. So I wouldn't suspect that would be a problem. Otherwise, the figure appears to be the exact same. We'll see about the hips in just a second. The other thing I want to note is the fireball is a different color than before, but it is the exact same sculpt. Still pretty cool with the hands inside, the transparent hands, so that's pretty cool. Otherwise, exact same stuff for the most part, only maybe minor tweaks here and there. Probably just can be chalked up to production variants. Okay, so if you guys remember on the original release, when you... Why is that stiff? There we go. When you brought the legs out to the side, the torso was too low. The legs and torso were too close. They bumped into each other, and the legs essentially pried the torso off and just popped it off of the ball peg, separating his upper body from his lower body. I haven't tested it yet. We're going to find out together. Right now, I've heard it's been fixed. But I also heard that it didn't exist in the first place, and you guys know firsthand from my video, or I guess you guys know secondhand, that it did exist. So here we go. I can't get the legs any higher. That's either because they're bumping into the body or just that they've reached their limit. I can get them a little higher. That's about it. It doesn't appear that they are bumping into the body at all. Nothing popped off. Nothing's loose. Let's take the clothes off and see. Now, normally, I would buy him dinner first, but this is a matter of importance, so we're just going to go ahead and do it. It appears... Oh, I hate it when that happens. So there's red on him from his gi. That really sucks. I'd also like to point out, that's a nice shaped abdomen, nice shaped torso. The problem with these guys is the hips are really, really broad and the gi makes the chest look really, really squatty, so it kind of kills their proportions. But if they had proportions that just matched this upper body, I would be very much in favor of that. Very nicely done. But as you can see, well, you guess you can't see it. Let's see. We can still rotate the lower torso. It doesn't appear to be loose in any way, so maybe they extended the ball peg just a touch. Maybe they just trimmed away a little bit of plastic. Hard for me to say for sure without trying to disassemble it, and I don't want to do that because I don't want to risk breaking anything. But we do not have... See how wide those hips are? I get that he's got baggy pants on, but big gap in the crotch and very wide hips make him look exceedingly chonky, especially when this is on. See how bulky they made the gi? It's so chonky. I know a lot of people don't like the chonk on these guys, and I'm with those people. I would much rather they be trimmer. This is thicker than Ryu and Ken have ever been. Or at least they look that way, but then the abdomen looks perfect. See? That's how the... whatever. It's so close to being really, really awesome. I guess if you just took the gi off and then changed your legs entirely, it'd be fine. Anyway... No issues, apparently. We're going to do Ryu also in his own review. But as far as this guy goes, no issues with the legs popping the torso off. So that's very good. I'm going to get this back on and talk a little bit more about the chonk on this guy before we move on. And it's basically the one consistent complaint I've heard people have with these Street Fighter Ryu and Ken figures especially, is they're just so damn thick. And they're not supposed to be that thick. Even that artwork that these are based on, that really stylized artwork, they're not quite that thick. I'll bring that up too to show you. So look how big that torso. See, it totally destroys his athletic build. It makes him look like he's got a big fat belly and big fat legs. And that's not really great. So here's the artwork. But even then, look how big the upper body is compared to the legs. So I get it that a lot of people don't like this particular artwork, and that's fine. But you can't make half the body look like that. Look how small the upper body is relative to the lower body here. Whereas here, the upper body is ginormous compared to the lower body. So you just have to be more consistent if you're going to go that route. Otherwise, you end up with a figure like this, where it takes a figure that has exceedingly broad shoulders and a really well-defined torso, and it makes him look like he's shaped like a pear, and that's not good. So yeah, there are definitely some issues. If you want to see the original review where I go over everything in detail, just minus the hip section, it'll be right up there. But otherwise, it's a solid enough figure. I'm still waiting for the Ryu and Ken figures that I want them to create, which would just be more traditional looking Ryu and Ken figures. But as far as this guy goes, no hip issue, so that's a good plus, and the ankle should free up, so significant improvement over the Violent Ken release. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. If you haven't subscribed, you should, because I have new videos out just about every single day, and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that, and in the meantime, keep collecting.